So welcome Rakshit and congratulations once again. We are meeting for the third time, no, fourth time, fourth time online, two time we have met in person. And thank you for giving all the time to applicants today and that day in Hyderabad meetup also. It really, really, it means a lot that you are still willing to give back because it will all come back to you in some way or the other. I always say this. And I have already told everything about you, your profile, your multiple attempts, and your perseverance and everything to everyone. But again, for the sake of formality, why not you please introduce yourself and all your journey with your ISB application?
Sure, sure. Thank you so much, Sanchit. So I am Rakshit. I am 2021 batch pass out from Harvard University. Post that, I have nearly 4.5 years of working across top fintech startups of our country. I started my career with Paytm as a software developer, and later on, I moved on to Grow. I worked there for a good 2 years, and for past 2.5 years, I've been working in Angel One as a senior software engineer. And this is my, and I, apart from this, I also am an investment professional. I love to do stock market in my pastime. And so, MBA journey for me has been very long, very, very long. So
Yeah.
it started back in 2021. So I gave CAT as due to my parents, they were very excited for me to do an MBA. They both are MBA grads.
Oh,
So yeah, so they wanted me to get an MBA. So I gave CAT, and luckily I was able to score a very good score. And I got into some top IIMs, like I got into IIM Calcutta, Lucknow, and Indore. But that time, like software development was on its peak, and I was very convinced that I see my future as a software developer. So I thought that let me go ahead with my career, but very short time after that, I realized that this is not what I want to do.
hmm,
And but I already had 2 years of work ex, so I figured that ISB was the correct choice for me at that point in time.
hmm,
So a dream was born in me that I wanted to crack it now on my own terms.
hmm.
But the thing is, like, when you want it most, there is some plot against you, right?
Yes.
So I gave my GMAT, and I scored a 730 in classic edition.
Yes, which is 96 percentile. And
Yeah, which
just to
is
highlight everyone, 730 in classic GMAT is an above average score, average median also for classic. I know this because I also had the same score
yeah, we
as
have the same score.
same score.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
even during my time, when I applied to ISB, the average score was 707, if I remember correctly. And even 2 years ago, when Rakshit would have applied for the first time, that time the average classic GMAT score was between 715 to 720. Some
Correct.
717 or 718 was the. Uh,
Correct.
so he had a above average score even in his first two attempts, just to tell it
Yeah.
clearly to everyone. Yeah.
Correct. So I got the GMAT score, and like I was very confident, as Anshul said, it was above average score.
Hmm.
So I worked on my application and I applied to ISB. And after the interview, I was waitlisted, and this was the first time that they introduced quartile system.
Yeah.
And so I was in Q1 R1. So it was a first quartile, top 10% of the waitlist. So I was very confident on my chances of conversion. And it was a very, very long journey of 6 to 7 months. And finally, on 1st April, I was rejected just 10 days before the class was about to
Yeah.
begin. And then I did not pay that much attention because of my personal life.
Yeah.
I got married in December that year. So I was busy with that. But once I got married, I saw that the deadline was in January. So within 2 days of the deadline, I again decided to apply with the same score and almost same application
In round three this time, right?
in round three. Yeah, right. In round three. And I gave a hour-long interview this time. And but again, to my surprise, I was waitlisted. Only 10 people were waitlisted in R3.
Yeah.
And yeah, and finally on April 1st, seven of them were converted. I did not again convert.
You and Devyani were the one who
Yeah,
did
yeah,
not
yeah. Did
convert
not
out of
convert.
those 10 people,
Yes, exactly.
and
And
both of
everyone
you
else.
are going this time.
Correct.
Yeah.
So everyone else. And then I actually, took a step back and I thought that, this maybe the score is not working, or I have to do whatever possible to improve my score so I can guarantee admission in the next round. So, I concentrated on GMAT. I gave GMAT my 2 months. I gave two attempts in GMAT. I got 705 FP in the first attempt, and I got 715 in the second attempt. I think 715 is 99th percentile.
Yes, it is.
And then finally, I began preparing for my applications.
Hmm.
And I genuinely gave it my all this year. After my application, I started preparing for interview because, I have given interview for two times. And I think that was also one of the biggest reason that I was thinking in my mind that that may be a reason for my rejection. So I took multiple mocks and I prepared almost 2 months for my interview.
Yeah.
And finally, my interview was flawless, above my expectations. And finally, I got the convert this week. So it
Okay.
has been a very long journey.
Yes, I have some difficult questions to ask you now. First
Yeah,
of all, you said you were in the beginning, you thought that software engineering is your long-term career as well, and you're very happy with it. That's the reason you did not go to IIM Calcutta 2-year MBA. What flipped your mind? Because you are still doing well as a software engineer. You're working for a very reputed brand in the most emerging sector, that is fintech. That too within the investment space in fintech. Everything is going on well with you even today,
right.
right? But
Yeah,
what flipped for 3 years ago that you decided that no, this is not, eventually you don't see yourself as a software engineer in the long run?
sure. So, like working as a software developer, like initially I was solving a lot of problems, right? Problem solving is one of my field, like what I love the most. But what I figured out was the space that I can solve problem for was already restricted by business side, right? So it was the business side that was doing the heavy lifting. And once they have decided on what to build, my job was only how to build it, right? And then AI started coming into the picture. And but then I realized that it made my job even more redundant
Hmm.
because AI was doing most of the heavy lifting in my job. And in the end, I was just sitting there and prompting the machine to give me outputs and pasting that. And it was not giving me any kind of satisfaction that I was
Hmm.
looking for. And
Hmm.
I also had the opportunity to work very, very closely with product managers. And, every day I was looking at them and every day I was thinking that, I want to do this kind of role. And AI and all the economic shifts that were happening during these times made it very, very difficult to make this pivot without a MBA or having a credential in business side of things. So that is when it clicked that I should do an MBA. And, still it is very difficult for me to justify it ROI wise. Yeah, I was earning way above the average.
Yes. Yes,
But
that's the reason I asked. Many people
yeah,
immediately start saying, asking people, especially people who are from tech and finance who are already making a good amount of money, that is it even worth it? Is it even ROI and all? I said, is it even worth it? Is your question. I
exactly.
cannot, I do not know how you measure your worth or your
Exactly.
worth of ISP. I
Yeah.
do not know that. And definitely, if you're only doing it for money, then maybe it's not worth it. And maybe you should not go through all this hell, because preparation for ISP is actually a mini hell, going through a mini hell, right?
100% agree on
Yes.
that.
So
Yeah,
if you're not convinced, then don't go. If
exactly.
you're only thinking about money, then definitely don't go. Okay. Number one, great. Number two, you had two attempts in first attempt, no, first attempt and you had a 713 classic. Then second attempt, it was GMAT focused. You already had a 705.
Yeah, first attempt.
You, yeah, still you retook it. Why did you retake at a 705? Who told you to? What
Yeah.
prompted you?
So basically, my methodology, because I have taken a lot of exams like CAT, GMAT, three, four times at this point.
Hmm.
So my methodology to GMAT is simple that I have to achieve my best score. That is my whole methodology going into a paper like GMAT. It is not, it is a competitive paper, but unlike CAT, it is doing your personal best in your GMAT
Yes. Yes.
because you have unlimited attempts. So you have to find your maximum and perform to your maximum potential, and then whatever best score you have, go along with your application and give that your best. Don't, just for increasing 10 points or 20 points, don't just stay in the GMAT prep, because application is a very big part of what ISB has to offer. So I gave the second attempt just to make sure that I was at my personal best. I only took 10 days in between both the attempts.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
and so I'll tell you the issue with my 705. I got very high percentiles, as I was telling you earlier also. I got 100 percentile in quant, I got 100 percentile in DI, but I got a 66th percentile in verbal. So I did not believe that 66th percentile in verbal. And that's why I thought that there might be some luck involved, and let me give it another shot. If
Hmm.
I'm in the same bracket, then I'll move on.
What happened in 715? How much percentiles you got?
Yeah, so I got again 100 and 100, but this time I got, I think, 70 per month. Then I figured, yeah, not my cup of tea.
Okay.
So,
Okay. Fine enough. Now, my last question to you is more on the personal side. This time I worked with many third time reapplicants. You are one of them. Manushri is one of them. I don't know if she's going to Mohali. You should meet her. She is involved in IPO of
yeah,
her company. I have mentioned in the group also.
right,
Who
right.
else? Gautam Khanduja, again, amazing guy, very young, but had worked really hard, really, really hard. He took his exams again, changed his job 2 times in 3 years to eventually make his profile stronger. Sumanyu,
Yeah, correct.
and cracked all 3 schools, all 4 schools this time. But I always say, you know, it takes a toll on you if you get rejected 2 times, and especially someone like you who was almost at the door because you were waitlisted both of the times. So it takes a mental toll on you. I would be very frank. In the past also I worked. There was this guy called Samarpit Kalra from class of 2024. He was also a third time reapplicant. But I never found that showing in your demeanor. You are always very jolly, laughing, happy, at least on outwards. I don't know how you're feeling inwards. That is so. How did you do that? Because it's even first time reapplicants, उनको मेरे को पहले से बहुत मोटिवेट करना पड़ता है in the beginning to come out of that sad zone and again get yourself together and kind of
Yeah,
apply with the best confidence and uh, a lot of positive body language, which is very, very important for ISP, right?
correct.
So how did you manage that? I'm sure it was not easy for you as well. No
Yeah.
matter how, whatever is your outward appearance, it's not easy
Yeah,
to
yeah.
again
True.
come back to the fight third time.
True.
So anything to comment on that, especially for the reapplicants who have joined this call?
Yeah, sure. So I think there are multiple factors to it. I think first of all, as you pointed out, it is not at all easy. Like any person who says that, applying 3 times, getting rejected, applying again, yeah, it's okay, your job is going. It's not like that, because it takes a very big mental toll on you,
Yeah.
and it is always going on in your background, right? And it also affects your self confidence
Yes.
at points,
Yes.
because you feel yourself to be worthy candidate, and then someone tells you you are not.
Yeah.
Then you have to rethink it, right? So, but I think there were 2 3 factors to it which helped me the most. I think the first factor, as you mentioned, was the conviction. So, like, I usually make it a purpose in my life that I don't go into anything without deep research and deep conviction. That is my first mantra that I always follow. And this has been developed due to my investment ideology. I never enter an asset that I don't know about, or I don't have a strong conviction on how good I am to judge it. So I think, first of all, anyone who is a reapplicant, he needs to take a step back and really think within himself that is he sure, because it is not going to be easy, right? So is he sure about his decision? And if he is sure, then I think, what I thought to myself was, as a re-applicant, I do not have a disadvantage because I researched and found out that ISB was a very, very re-applicant friendly school. And they themselves ask re-applicants to apply again. But also that I have an advantage that the first time applicants do not have. I have already been through the process
Yeah.
and I've already had a first-hand experience. And no matter how good second-hand experience you learn and listen to, the first-hand experience is what is natural to you, what is better than that. So I believed this to be my superpower above other applicants. I thought that, although I'm in the most competitive bracket, but I have this
Yeah.
uh, failure that I have been through, and I have the learnings from that process, and I have the utmost conviction of getting there someday. So I just kept my head down and, correcting those failures. And I tried to bounce back, and finally it happened.
Yeah, I cannot elaborate on it enough that it's difficult for male engineers, especially software engineers. It's just ISB has made it difficult on its own. But this year, so many software engineers have gotten. So I'm happy. That will still not change the ratio. Your ratio will remain the same. But happy to see that people have gotten. Yours GMAT was pretty high, but so many people got in with a 665, 675, being male engineers. The 675 person was only a software engineer as well, Ayush, uh, who I wanted to invite, but he went to Bangkok. I hope at least he will give me, because again, I want to invite him also because again, the same conundrum of being a male software engineer and the difficulty it entails to get into ISB. Okay, now Rakshit, quickly tell me about your GMAT preparation strategy and the resources you used and the tips you would want to give to everyone. Let's talk only about focus. Classic to chala gaya, it's not there anymore anyway. So
Correct.
yeah.
Yeah, sure. So, my strategy with GMAT Focus was simple. So, I think whenever you are starting your prep, I firstly always take a mock in that first official mock I took. And I try to quickly figure out what are the areas that I'm currently lacking in, what are my strong areas, and
Hmm.
I create a diligent list of it. That these are my strong, these are my weak, these are very, very weak areas. And then after that, I start I give myself 1 or 2 months to actually learn those areas which I'm very weak. And side by side, I try to continue practicing on those strong areas to make them even stronger.
Hmm.
So, and then after 1 month, I again take a mock, and that mock is the main cornerstone of my preparation. That mocks tell me if those areas are still weak, then
Okay.
I decide to sidestep them because that is not where maximum ROI I'll be getting.
Okay.
And then I focus majorly on the medium to strong areas in my prep, and I try converting those medium areas to the strongest areas. And after that, after 10 to 20 days, I focus on mock, mock, and mock. I think I can't emphasize more on this, that mock is which will actually, tell you GMAT does a very good job of having official mocks. And take as much mocks as you can. And uh, that that is a reflection on how you might be doing without the pressure. So I always think that minus 20, that mock score is the official score that I'll be getting. And
Okay.
based on that, I I measure my progress and I prepare accordingly. And some of the resources which have been very, very helpful to me, I think the first were the OGs. The material itself is very, very good. And the second one was the GMAT Club. I think especially the practice test, I think you can, if you buy a subscription for that, you can have a practice test based on what are your weak areas, your strong areas, and a time test. That helped me a lot. But one very strong tip that I want to give at this point is focus on your basics. I think I think people just, start with the hard problems and 805 level problem, 705 level problem. I think this is the biggest mistake according to me.
Hmm.
Those questions are only attainable once you have very, very strong basics. So first focus and drill down your basics, and make them strong enough and then progress in your preparation.
Okay. So you used only OG and the official questions, right?
Yes, only official.
Guys, I hope you are taking notes because this has been repeated so many times by almost all high scorers. That stick to official sources. Do not go and start solving unofficial private subscription and coaching centers questions. Use them for theory part to build your concept. While practicing, please stick to the
And
topics. Okay, now you have almost successfully cracked the interview two times and fully successfully a third time. What tips you would want to give for interview?
yeah,
Let's talk about
Uh,
interview application. Many people have given a lot of.
yeah,
So let's
yeah,
talk because I think you have become an interview expert now by now.
yeah.
What to do for interview? What to do from now on only if you'd want to
Yeah,
connect on
yeah,
that
yeah.
as well.
Yeah. So I think the first and the most important thing I can tell you is self-reflection. So first of all, like the first time that I appeared for interview, after the interview was good because interview is itself a luck-based exams. They might, it was only a 15 minutes interview for the first time for me. It
Hmm.
was good, but the second time when I went in the interview for the second attempt,
Hmm.
it was not at all good. And there were some major lapses
Hmm.
in that I never thought of. So
Okay.
the first mistake I think I was making was preparing superficial.
Hmm.
I had an idea of what was written on my resume, but that was only an idea, right? I did not go deep into that. I did not introspect
Yeah.
what actually was there, right? And I think this was a major tip which you gave to me
Yeah.
during the first mock. I remember it
Yeah.
was to, introspect and actually that every single line should have a story attached to it.
Yes.
And I think this is one of the major tips. And second tip is take out time for it. Right? Most of the applicants are making this mistake is, too much focusing on GMAT.
Yeah.
It is taking too much of their time. Then they are rushing through application and it overspills to the last day.
Yeah.
And till last day, they have not even thought about interview. And that is when they start thinking about interview. And interview is one thing which is, which has to be learned. Your behavior, your expressions, all these have to be learned. And there is a certain time element to it. You can't just have a 1 week and, learn all your body language, how you are speaking, change your tonality, and all do that all in 1 week. So I think you have to start working on these things way before in your application. When you are working on your application, do lot of introspection and lot of mocks. I can't tell you enough how much important mocks are because you might be judging yourself based on what you know, right? But the people who are actually taking your mock, they have so much experience, they have worked with so many other candidates. And so getting a third hand perspective from people who have actually been through that process and have so many applicants, that gives you perspective which you can work on and actually excel that into.
Okay. Fine enough. That's all I wanted to know. And I mean, I already knew, but I wanted you to share with everyone. So, guys, now I am opening. Yeah, Karan. Karan has already raised his hand. So,
Yeah.
yes.
Hey, hi Rakshit. First of
Hi.
all,
Hi.
congratulations, man.
Thank you so much.
My question is regarding GMAT. First of all, can you dissect each section and your approach to it? That is quant and DI specifically, because I struggle with DI personally. So,
Mhm.
what is your approach to DI? And any tips on handling the pressure and the stamina that you require to go for the exam?
Sure. So yeah, I'll focus on the first part of the question first. So to tackle quant, I think quant is one such subject which is above average for most of the engineers specifically. Are you an engineer?
Yeah, I am, man.
Yeah, so I think your quant is already above average, but I think this is a very big trap because so what engineers mostly do is not give enough time of it in it and become overconfident. I think this is one of the area where you can actually excel in. So try to practice more and more and try to increase the accuracy, which is the most important thing in quant because if you will check the quant section, even if you get 1, 2, 3 wrong, your score will decline very, very steeply because it is very competitive section. So you should uh, maximize your accuracy in points, especially in the medium to easy questions. Because if you get this wrong, you are not getting a good score, whatever you do. So you should 100% focus on your practice and accuracy for your point section and try to hit that 90 mark if you are in engineer, if you want to maximize your score. And for DI section, I think there are not so much theory part which is associated with it. I think the best thing that worked for me was mocks. So specifically focus on the DI part of the mock. And the crucial element in DI, according to me, is the timing aspect. If you take those questions out of the time aspect and out of the pressure aspect, I'm 100% sure that if you have basic understanding, you will be able to solve. So in DI section, they usually test under pressure and under time constraint. Are you able to spot the most important part in that long paragraphs and how you are able to handle it and not make silly mistakes? So my approach to it was first I forgot the timer. I took only DI section mocks and I forgot the timer and I focused on getting that 90 mark, focused on getting that accuracy. And then I started to incorporate timing into it. And basically, after every your mock attempt, just write down every mistake. What do you think? Why do you make it? And you will start to notice some behavioral aspects of your. That is what GMAT is all about. Some behavioral aspects that you sometimes write two. It was 2334, and you write 2333. These are kind of the mistakes that people ignore by saying these are silly mistakes, but these are actually which is being tested. So you should, highlight what behavioral mistakes you are making in this section and focus on improving them and try to keep them in your mind from the next time around. And what was the second part of the question?
How do you manage the like your stamina for the
Yeah.
entirety of
Yeah, I
GMAT?
think the only way to manage the stamina part is to give enough mocks and
Hmm.
treat every mock as it is your final paper. You know, get a and specifically give it. One thing that worked for me very well was I gave my mocks at the same time my official paper was to be conducted, and I sat across that time 2.5 hours throughout, and I think give more and more mocks on that particular timing and try to train your brain to sit for that much amount of time. I think
Hmm.
that would help your stamina and pressure handling situation.
Got it. Got it. Thanks a lot.
Okay. Any other questions? If we don't have any questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Hi, Anshul. Um, sorry. Yeah. Sorry, I'll go. So I have a very similar profile as yours. Like I'm a software developer. I had the same sort of thought process that you mentioned you had regarding where business was taking most of the decisions, and I wanted to be involved in them. I wanted to have more of a say in what was happening rather than just executing it, so to say. And I am a reapplicant as well. I applied last year, IIM-A and ISB, and I was rejected in both. I am, as advised by Anshul, I am planning for a GMAT attempt as well as I want to apply. So I want to regarding the story, since we have sort of a similar narrative, I would say. So what do you think convinced the panelists about your story? Like this is a very specific question to, like, let's say devs
Yeah,
who
yeah,
are planning to do this.
yeah. I think as a developer, I think only advantage I found in this process was the story, because it is very natural and it is very believable. Only thing is to present it in a way that even the non-tech people, because you
Yes.
are never
Yes.
sure who is sitting right across from your table. And this I have figured out the hard way during my second interview. So I was using too many jargons. And as
Yes.
a developer, yeah, this also I think Anshul pointed
This
out.
is the most common problem with software developers. Even Rakshit kind of learned easily, but because he had gone through so many times the process.
Right.
But with some software developers, it was so difficult for me. Even I'm telling that don't use this. I have to break out. I mean, I have to break the role play during mocks. to stop them from using jargon so that they can again repeat that sentence without using jargon. It's very, very important. Don't use jargon. They will not understand anything. How ISB is anyway taking 40% people as non-engineers. Okay. Look at it. Use your common sense. 40% of the alum base is non-engineers.
Yeah.
60% of the alum base are engineers. Engineers just mean BTech. It doesn't mean software engineers. A
Right.
very small group would actually be software engineer. They are already making software engineers difficult to get into. They will not understand if you start using your random, amazingly complex things that you guys do. It's not the B school is not the place to use it. It's very, very important. There's Rakshit, Ayush Gupta, Ananya Baser, who else are software engineer? Aman Beg, Shreya Manga, Oracle, all these are all our last three people are Oracle, Barclays people. All of them had the same problem. You have to get over it. There is a video uploaded on YouTube of Het Chande, class of 2025. Current, he must be graduating next week. He's not from tech, but he is a investment banker. Now his interviewer was someone with 15 years of marketing experience. He said, I don't understand your line of work at all. Now you explain everything to me in layman language. Start with what exactly is investment banking? Who are your clients? What do you do for clients? What is your uh, marginal contribution to the client? So you have to start learning to do that from now on only. It is very difficult to learn it immediately during interview, to learn the art of communicating without using any jargons.
Yeah, 100% agree. Yeah. So only point is this because I think the story is believable. It just what matters is how you present it. Present it, yeah, just try explaining it to your parents. I think I tried this. Anshul recommended. I tried this. So just try and ask your parents to ask this question, and hopefully if they're not developers, so yeah, ask them and then take their feedback and how much did they understand. And I think that is a good
Or
starting
make
point.
me understand. If I
Yeah,
understand, I
I
am
could try that
I
also.
my field is non-related to any of the people who apply to ISP, right? So if I understand, and I remember for to understand Ananya's work, I still don't really remember what she does at Oracle. ठीक है. To understand her work, I had to use ChatGPT first. I had to put her resume on ChatGPT, and I asked ChatGPT to make me understand what she does. Then I took her mock.
Okay.
She has some enterprise something she does at Oracle. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
one
I
thing.
think
All if
it's
techies are here,
enterprise.
finance people also. Finance people have this habit of using random everywhere. They'll use the term like CAC, EBITDA, PAT. ठीक है.
Yes.
Again, there is higher chances of an MBA graduate understanding those terms, but much lesser for you guys.
Yeah, yeah. Our
Right.
language has no commonality
Correct.
with them. So
Correct.
please try working on that. Any other questions?
Yes, so just one follow-up question. So did you get that question of like let's say they something that they ask is could you not achieve what you are trying to like post MBA goal without an MBA, without a degree, because people do that. So did you get that
Yeah.
question and how did you tackle that?
Yeah, I think I'll answer it in Anshul's style. You can achieve the same thing basically without MBA also, with the courses, taking referrals and other things. But the kind of acceleration an MBA provides to your career,
Right.
you can achieve the same thing that will take you 4 to 5 years to reach at that level. But in after MBA, you can reach there very fast. And also, it's not just for you achieving your career pivot, right? You are getting lot of other things, lot of other intangibles like a network, right?
Right.
So many people, collective people who are preparing with you. So there are a lot of added benefits along with that you are getting in an MBA. So you are not just getting prepared for a PM role per se, but also for future leadership roles within him.
Right. Right. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks, Rakshit. Congrats again.
Thanks.
Yes, Aditya.
Hi, Rakshit. Congrats
Hi.
on your ISB admit. So yeah, my question is actually to the both of you. So you were mentioning about these jargons and things like that during interview, right? Not to mention those.
You
My
also
question
will
is,
face the same
yeah,
problem.
yeah,
I
yeah,
know that.
exactly. Yeah, so even in the first assignment, I'm facing that issue when I'm trying to explain the context to really make it explain in simple language.
Hmm.
But in an interview, or in, like, even when I'm doing your assignments, that word limit issue is not there. We can write as much as possible or speak as
Yeah.
much as possible. But when it comes to an essay context, you have to explain your entire work experience without, like, making it as simple as possible to these people in, like, let's say 400 words, 500 words. So how do we, like, and also you can't really use AI as well. So how do we make sure that we can like convey our experience, but also at the same time, like, make sure our impact is also shown?
Yeah.
So that is more of my question.
Yeah. So I think my reply to that would be iterations. I think, first sit down and get all your story out, right? Do a lot of introspection and throw all your thinking vomit on a paper and have a big story, right? And then with successive iterations, just start eliminating, which is not that relevant, which do not matter, and just try to iterate, and finally you will reach on a draft which will actually be useful. And I think because you will have done so many iterations, so much introspection in that process, I think that essay would not only be very good, but also you will have way more confidence in it than you just randomly wrote a 400 word essay. Like,
Okay. Yeah, thanks.
Karan, you want? Yeah.
Yeah, I had a quick follow-up question because I just remembered. So as SDs, there's a lot of time that we have a lot of individual contribution roles. At least I do in my field. So what parts of your profile did you take to answer either leadership qualities or those team, like how you fit into a team? What all do you take to answer that?
yeah, correct. So, yeah, that is rightly pointed out. So, but I think if you will think about your job role. So, what I did was I focused on the initiatives that I took. And leadership is not just formal leadership, which has been given to you by the company, right? There are a lot of initiatives that you might have taken in your company, or a lot of informal leadership that you have done, right? Specifically, if you have above 2 or 3 or 4 years of work ex, and I think less than two, I don't think you'll be able to manifest that much amount of leadership. But above 3, 4 years, there are always juniors which are working under you, right? And you might have given them KT sessions, you might have helped them overcoming their challenges, right? And that is what leadership is all about. They don't
Yes.
want to see actual leadership or you have led teams. They want to see what kind of initiative, what kind of spark you have. And I think it is way better showing that you didn't have a position and you took the initiative and led. And I think
Leadership
it is an
without
advantage.
formal authority is always considered very highly by ISB. It is considered so highly that it is an essay topic for PGP-YL people. PGP-YL essay one topic is only give them one instance, just one. They have mentioned, give me only one instance where you exhibited leadership without any formal authority. It's an important tenet for taking admits. So yeah,
Yeah.
he has hit the nail like very, very accurately what Rakshit said. So you have to highlight such instances either in application, mostly in application, so that it eventually gets discussed in the interview. Yeah, Rakshit, please continue.
So I think, and also, if you did not have, maybe you can try to find an initiative like that. And finally, also, what you can do is try to think outside your job also. So don't be very, very strict on job. Obviously, you'll have to highlight your job, but you can also think outside your job if you have taken any initiatives or shown any initiatives. That also can be a good point.
Got it. Cool. Thanks, man. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? Guys, if yes, Arun, I was hoping you'd ask something.
Hi, Rakshit. I wanted to understand, regarding your short-term and long-term, which is product management, I believe. I wanted to understand if the panelists deep dive into product sense questions to you since your post-MBA goal was product management. And also, I'd like to understand, how did you prepare for this question? Because you told you had seen product managers in your company. By seeing them, you understood that okay, this is what you wanted to do. So, did you speak to many PMs who transitioned from software development to product management? If yes, how was the preparation towards it, and how did the interview go with respect to this topic? If anything, there it could be helpful.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah, great question. So basically, yeah, I think recently in this batch, this round of interviews, they asked a lot of case studies. Like earlier,
Yes,
I'm
yes,
not sure this much was asked anytime,
yes.
but this year they were way more focused on case studies. And even in my interview, I was asked a product sense case study, which was a new entrant in the fintech space itself. And if you were to come up with a new product, then what would your approach would be, right? And firstly, let me make this very clear to you. They are not looking for a very perfect answers. They know that you are a developer. They are not expecting way polished answers like a PM, but they want to see that your thinking is in the right direction and you have given some efforts there also, right? Because they want to see your motivation. It is only a 1 year program, right? You can't learn everything in that year. They want motivated people in the batch who have already, started a journey towards their interest, and they are not just saying it for the speaking terms. So I think best way to prepare for is as you pointed out. I think first of all, if you are a developer, you will be working very very closely with the product managers. Just try talking with them as much as possible. For me, the advantage was my wife was already working as a product manager, so I could have endless conversations with her. And also, just try practicing it, and they'll not ask very random questions to you, right? They also know you are a developer, so try to do these product questions in your profile, like in your domains, and what is relevant to you, and try and coming up with such product questions and try to practice it. I think one very good tool to practice this was ChatGPT.
Yes.
Yeah, the voice mode on ChatGPT is very very good. You just ask it to throw you a product sense question and ask it to evaluate your feedback. And I think that has been very, very helpful.
They will tell you all about prioritization metrics and all the first
Yeah.
5 steps. And I learned a lot. I think I can crack a junior product manager role now because almost every other person they asked a product case questions. If you say that your post MBA goal is product management.
Yeah, I have a follow-up question with that. Since you are from proper core tech, I wanted to understand how the interview went in this sense. So basically, let's say they would obviously ask you about your work experience and the outcomes. You would have quantified certain outcomes where you would have worked on a particular feature, and that feature would have had an impact X percentage, Y percentage, so and so. So when you had done the feature, you would have done it from a tech lens, even though you understand the problem statement from a business sense. That is what the PMs would have given you in the first place, but your work would have been to develop it. Now that would have given you an outcome. But then when it comes to ISB interview, did the panel grill you or ask you questions regarding the business outcomes of the feature, or how did your work experience questions were posted to you during your ISP? Because it's purely tech, even though you explain your job role in a layman term, but then for you to quantify and explain the outcomes of your work, that is a different game altogether. I wanted to understand how did that go for you?
True. So first of all, ISB's interviews are very unpredictable, okay? Because you don't know who is going to take it. All 3 years, I had completely different experience of an interview. In my first year, I had a very later spot, and I believe interviewers were very tired. So I only had a 10-15 minutes interview wherein I was just asked why MBA, why ISB, and the 1 2 basics question. Right. In second interview, they just caught one stock market from my profile and they left development, everything aside, and full 1 hour was a debate on the stock market, what currently is happening. Right. So yeah, one other tip is be very thorough with what you are writing in your resume. They could randomly stop at any word and pick it up from there. And also coming to your, and in third interview, yeah, I was asked a lot of work related questions, specifically of my projects that I had highlighted. They even asked me, one person was actually interested in system design. He asked me to explain the system design of the system that I was designing. So the first step here is to, as we discussed earlier, de-jargon file. Don't use any jargon, especially in these questions. They won't understand a bit. Try to, look at it from a business perspective. And the best thing that helped me was I borrowed a resume from my product manager who was working with me. So my resume was very bad. It talked about only the tech aspect. But as I looked at his resume, I copied those points. I sat with him for 1 hour, made him understand what this means, what this means, what this means. And you have so much time in R1 if you are applying for R1. Make this practice, because not only in your before in your ISB interviews, but also after you come to ISB, this would be very helpful, because even in post MBA interviews, you will be asked about the business, what kind of impact it created. Also you can go to, you can see the what are the good MBA colleges publish, what are the good guidelines for a resume. Try to look at that. Try to look at PM resumes. Try to talk with them, and then come up with your final resume or whatever you'll be writing.
Oh, thanks, Rashid. Thanks, Rashid.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mihir, and then Kirti.
Yeah. So following on Arun's question, so currently I'm working at BCN where most of the teams are working on live cases, but my team is a product-based team where we did in my initial years at Bain, we did product analytics, and then later I moved on to a different role where we were actually supporting case teams identify targets for private equity and corporate M&A transactions. So there was a dilemma with me where I was not able to figure out. My aspiration was to go into consulting, but the whole of my resume or my work experience was inclined towards being a product manager because I've been part of a product team for such a long time. So when you prepare for interviews, uh, how do you decide whether you should write your after ISB goal being a consultant or a product manager, because you'll be able to answer the product management roles better, but your aspiration is to be a management consultant.
So I think first of all, it is a trade-off basically. I think that first of all, you figure out what you are more comfortable in answering, right? And because I think there are a lot of people who might have told anything in an interview, but later on they can get into whatever they want. But be very, very sure about it. And this is a decision that you need to make. And I think one tip I would like to give is that, nothing is product manager or nothing is consulting. It is all how you present it. That is what matters. It doesn't matter that, what you have worked in. If you closely introspect and write and try to convey it as a consulting project. So because BCN is obviously, I think there are a lot of BCN folks here who are transitioning into consulting posted. And so what kind of work you have done, that and what they know is how you present it. I think that is the most important tip. And I'm sure you can present it in a way that will smoothen the transition out. So you have a lot of time, try working it and presenting it a certain way, which might help your case.
Thank you.
Yeah, Kirti.
Yeah, hi Rakshit, hi Anshul. So, my history, if I have to say, is that I had applied to the YL this round R1 this year and I got rejected. But then,
Forget about it.
yeah,
There is one Khushali Dalal. She is joining Rakshit batch. She was
okay,
also rejected by YL last year. This
yeah,
year, ISB has invited her for PGP with 25% scholarship. Okay. First
okay,
step of being a reapplicant is forget what happened last.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So my question is that so if September is R1, so if I write my goal as a product manager, I work in Deloitte. So what best I can do in this period to make sure that it looks like I want to do product management no more. Like it can be a course or work with product managers because it's not very prominent in Deloitte being product manager. So I
Yeah.
wanted to know a little bit about that because my main work is like it's in software. It's not development, but you can say I work in IT consulting. So
Yeah, so I think if you want to show the product manager intent, so I think course is okay. Like I think everyone writes that they have done some course, and I don't think it brings such an impact. I think the main thing that can show them intent is, how you speak in your interview, right? And for that, you have to develop this product mindset. And for that, the best thing is to talk with people who have done this product a lot of where and one thing that you will notice after you talk to these people and understand what product managers do, that a part of their job related part is 100% going to be there in your current job, and you can highlight that part more and just have a interest towards the business side of things, right? Just ask for impact. I think that is one of the most strongest PM narrative is impact. So just try and focus on what kind of impact is your work creating. What kind of, because there would always be some metrics or some business needs that you might be fulfilling, right? Either yours or your clients, whatever, if you are a tech consultant.
yeah, yeah,
Just
yeah,
try
yeah.
together what is that impact and how you are playing a part in it. And I think that is all that is required to show it.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
Okay, I will go next.
Yes, Satyam.
All right. So, Rakshit, congratulations and really like your jolly attitude.
Yes.
But okay, moving to my question. This
I
has
hope
already been
ISB does
discussed.
not kill his.
I hope not. Sorry. Yeah. So this has already been discussed in the call a little bit, but like you said, you were doing well enough in your job, and the main reason for you to go for ISB was to, maybe a change of role, go from a little bit from technical to business. But again, it's a big decision, it's a huge expense, it's 1 year of your time. I just want to know how did you like went through the decision making part of this process that yes, I want to do an MBA from ISB. I'm already doing well enough in my career, but no, I will spend this money and I will spend my 1 year and I will go for an MBA. Like how was that decision making process for you, and what kind of made you decide that yes, I need to get this?
Yeah, sure. Great question. So basically, as I told you, I'm a market person. So I have developed this habit of looking things from a very long-term perspective. And I think, especially in today's real world, this is a very big superpower that, you can develop in yourself is to look at things from a long-term lens, right? Because, like, if you think about it, then, the current salary, the current career going well are all short-term incentives, right? So what you have to look it at from is in the long term, how can ISP, not just the placement aspect of it, but in the long term, what kind of network it can provide to you, what kind of opportunities, what kind of doors it might open for you. And I think that mindset helped me a lot. Second part is do a lot of research because you are going to be investing so much, not only your money, but also your preparation, your GMAT prep, right?
Your
And before
happiness
that,
for next 6 months.
yeah, true. And so before that, it is very, very important to do as much research as you can, right? There are ISB alums are very, very helpful. Anshul is right there. And so basically talk to them, okay? Because ISB takes on lot of diverse people. If you do a basic LinkedIn search, you will find lot of people who have done the same transition that you might be aiming for. Reach out to them on LinkedIn, talk to them, and then after that research, then try to make up your mind, right? Pros and cons, and then try to figure out if it is the right fit for you or not.
All right. So from all your research, you concluded that 1 year of MBA will help me get better in the future.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but
One more thing I want to
yeah,
add
yeah.
on this, and it is very important for all of you to listen to me very carefully. Right now, whatever Rakshit said or whatever Satyam you might be evaluating that if MBA is helpful for you or not in long term or short term for that matter, you are all playing with knowns, right? You are trying to evaluate with something that you already know. ISB may many things will happen to you which you don't even know yet. That
Mm.
is called power of unknown. I'll give you one example. I had a classmate. Uh, I remember her face. I don't remember her name, which happens very often with me. I don't. Arpita. Her name was Arpita Jerath. Jerath, yeah, Jerath or Jerath, some surname like that. Delhi girl, and we used to chat sometimes. She was very good friends with a friend of mine, so that's how she was never in any of my sections or any of my electives with me. But I used to find her somewhere, meet her because she was friends with my friend. So uh, ISB has a very small small group of people who would target marketing. So I was one of them and she was one of them. And we always used to talk, okay, we have to do marketing, get a marketing job and blah blah. This girl, she made very good friends with some other people in the batch. Uh, and I think she did work somewhere uh, after graduating. I'm not sure where. You can check her LinkedIn. During COVID, she ended up starting a very small random startup where it was like food ordering, but DIY food ordering. Means you, if you want to make pasta, you order, they will give you all the ingredients separately, and then you cook it on your own. Okay. Very small scale, right? It's not, I don't know if it
Right.
can be scaled or not. And she started it like a part-time thing. I'm not sure if she started it part-time, but eventually it was full-time. And she started with another of our fellow classmates, which was very good friends, who was very good friends with her. And she all started during COVID. COVID, maybe we all were trying to increase our productivity, right? That's how I started Faith Career in
Yeah,
COVID. So, and within 3 years, some company called Klook or Kloop, it acquired that Chotu Sa initiative for 7 crores.
wow.
And now she worked there in Klook only after getting acquired, and now she's working somewhere else at a very, of course, you're an entrepreneur with an exit. Who will not want you? Did she plan all that when she was at ISB?
Yeah.
Absolutely not. You can ask her directly. But
True, true,
this
true.
happened, and this I'm giving you only one example. I can give you so many other examples from my batch only. And I am from a very, not very old, but chalo, 2018, right? And she sold that company 3 years ago.
Mm.
Some people from my batch were still paying off their loans, and she had already sold her company. This is a this is something unknown. This is something that you can get when
Agreed.
you are among a group of extremely intelligent and hardworking people. But unlike IIMs, where you'll only find intelligent people, here ISB, because of the nature of admission, it is intelligent people plus people who have done something in their career, something differently, right? Because it's profile based admission, unlike IIMs, which is mostly CAT based. You don't know what you'll end up doing when you are thrown in among such great group of people and great network. Why do you think people from IITs are also going to ISB? They already have such great network. They have creme de la creme network, right? They're still going. I work with so many IITians in round one who will be joining with Rakshit. Rishabh Raj, he's already a venture
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
capitalist.
Yeah.
Why does he need to go to ISB? Rohit Karthikeyan, again IIT Bombay. Rishabh is IIT Bombay, Rohit is also IIT Bombay. IQVIA senior consultant. I don't think he needs ISB in any way. Vanshika already at a very good, extremely high paying job at Goldman Sachs, front end role. She doesn't need for money. Definitely, she doesn't need for money. Jinendra Jain, not an IITian, but he's a CA. Rejected last year, accepted this year. He is already a general manager at Vodafone
Yeah.
at 26 years of age. उसकी प्रोफाइल देखोगे नेक्स्ट वो सीएफओ बनने वाला है उसका रिज्यूमे देखोगे तो was rejected last year. This year worked very religiously with me. Uh, and I asked him, do you need an MBA? He said, no, I need it. You are going there for that unknown. Did I think I'll start faith career? I don't think so. First of all, I am from the most niche background. I can't imagine helping someone like Rakshit or someone like Vanshika for that matter, who is a hardcore finance professional. But somehow I developed that skill. I don't know how it happened. You're going there for that. And but for that, you need to think yourself that you're capable of finding that unknown and grow one step further in life. That conviction should come from you, that no one can motivate you. I had a very candid conversation on the same topic with a guy 3 days ago. He had done scheduled one-to-one with me. Again, a tech guy, already sitting at 55 LPA. I told him the same thing and I told him, think very carefully before doing it. Today, I saw he left the group. Maybe he realized that it's not for him. That realization should happen right now only so that you don't end up wasting your time. Because it's not only, it's first of all, you will be unemployed for 1 year. ऊपर से लोन रहेगा सर पे इतना बड़ा. First 6 months will be pressure cooker. You will keep questioning your decision. Why did I come here when I was already making money? Right. So think very, very carefully. But once you decide, put all your heart and soul into it because it's not easy to get a seat. Right?
Very well put, Raj. Yeah.
This really helps. Thank you.
Okay, I think I spoke a lot, but it was important for me to say this, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyone else? Rakshit, we are okay, right? If we have spent.
Yeah. I am unemployed actually.
Yes, good. Only time when you're happy being unemployed.
Yeah.
I was also like you. My classes were starting on 7th April. I was also working till 30th March. I like last salary leke hi jaunga. 30th March, I left Bangalore. Okay, guys, anyone else? Okay, I don't think we have any more questions. Guys, I'm repeating again, please provide the feedback. It's very, very important for me. And I'm very thankful for people who are doing it every time. There are only small group of people who post the feedback every time. I don't know who are you because it's Reddit, but thanks a lot. It really means a lot to me. And thank you, Rakshit, for doing this. Now I will invite you again once you grab that 70 LPA wala job, being a group product manager. I think Paytm comes for group product management,
Yeah.
or who else comes for multiple product management at once. Those roles also come.
Yeah.
Hopefully, you will be one of them very soon.
Thank
Share chat.
Thank you.
Share chat
Yeah,
comes
share
for
chat. Correct.
two. I know. I don't know who else comes for very senior product roles, but yeah, all the best. I will be very near to you. So if you need anything,
Yeah.
mostly you will not, but if you need, you can always call me. Okay. And you might call, you always please feel free to call me for any of the parties also. Okay.
Yeah.
Last time in the O week, I joined a random party with Ankita took me, and they all believed that I am one of them. For 2 hours, I told them random stories. And then I revealed the moment I told them I'm an alum, 20 other people came, and then like now I'm leaving. I don't want to visit anymore.
Yeah.
Maybe I will join one of the parties.
For sure. We'll meet in a week.
Yes, we'll meet in a week. I'll see you in
Yeah.
the campus on 12th.
Yeah.
Okay. Chalo. Bye bye. Bye, guys.
Okay. Thank you, Anshul. Have a good day. Yes. Bye.